So basically, if we take, let's say, a person becoming like a Marine in the United States, first is a preliminary stage at which you discard your old self. And this kind of first stage is associated with sort of cutting away your old self, sometimes literally, like for example, they cut your hair, they shave your head, they put you in a different clothes, you discard your civilian clothes, and they give you a different clothes. So you kind of leave your old self behind and step into this new kind of a situation, into this new life. Not yet, but you're making a first step. The second stage is the liminal stage, this kind of a transition stage. And when Tatiana said it's the most dangerous, what she means is that, you know, this is the most risky stage because you're kind of in between. You may not make it to the next stage. Not everyone makes it. For example, when you go through the Marine training, a lot of people fall off and they never become the Marine. They go back to their old self, to their old social state. So this is that liminal stage. And a lot of people, when they go through the liminal stage, when we go to the ethnography, you know, when Tatiana said they're considered dangerous, and we'll talk about that, a lot of time they're isolated somewhere. They're isolated from the main community in some kind of, you know, like in this case, some kind of a training camp that's fenced off, for example, from everyone else. They're not allowed to leave. They're not allowed to go to the town. They're not allowed to mingle. They're not allowed to do these regular things. And when we go to the traditional, like initiation rituals, no one speaks to these people. No one touches them. They're sort of this in-between thing that's considered a little bit dangerous, uncertain, and you need to stay away from it. And the last stage is the post-liminal, when when you finally make it, when you go into your new social role. And that's associated with visible markers of your new self. For example, a uniform, a title, you know, you get a title of an officer, all kinds of bands. For example, wedding, you get a wedding ring, you know, all kinds of bands and rings that are considered sort of this bondage, almost symbolically, you know, that you are now bound by a new set of rules and a new set of obligations that you didn't have before. For example, when you become a wife, you have new duties. You know, you have household duties. You have a duty to be faithful to your husband. You're a new person. And that's always associated with some visible marks. Like, for example, in traditional societies, there may be tattoos. Like when you go from a boy to a man, they put a tattoo on you so that everyone knows that you're a man and you're supposed to be treated differently and you have a different set of rights and people need to speak to you differently. Scarification, sometimes on visible parts of the body, like on the face. Some African communities will put scars on their face to let everyone know, hey, you're in this new social state. So that's the post-liminal stage. So these are the three stages that, you know, Van Gennep kind of noticed cross-culturally in a lot of different cultures. And like Vlad said, you know, there are different examples of the social state transition. Like we talked about marriage, for example. We talked about, you know, like this example of a civilian person becoming an officer, a military officer. But one stage that is often talked about in anthropology is this transition from a boy to a man, because this stage is very colorful. It exists in a lot of societies, and for boys to become men, there is usually some trials associated with that. These boys, they're tried to see how tough they are, if they're tough enough to become a man, and that's associated with a lot of rituals. Some of them are very outlandish, and they're very interesting to watch. And I will show you guys just one such ritual. Give me just a moment. show you a video here.
The Fulani tribespeople, known for their nomadic ways and for some of the world's more painful rites of passage. In a remote region of northern Benin, West Africa, Bapate prepares for his initiation ritual with the help of his older brother. Clans will gather from 50 miles around to see if he is braver than his opponent in a violent whipping match.
If I lose, I will be shamed, because everyone from all of the different clans will be watching.
Back at the village, the boys enlist their father's aid in choosing a branch that will inflict the most painful blow. Their father sharpens the stick so it will break the opponent's skin. Finally, it's time to head off to battle. Bapate is excited, in spite of the bloody test that awaits him. Meanwhile, a young Fulani woman is undergoing her own rite of passage into adulthood. Today, Maude will receive a full set of traditional facial tattoos and become a woman. Maude's tattoos will be done by a local artist, Gokure. He readies the needles he will use to make thousands of tiny pricks in Maude's face. The hours-long ritual will test the girl's bravery. If she cries or shows pain, then she will be shamed, and the tattooing may be delayed until she is older. Before inscribing the painful tattoo, Gokure paints elaborate designs. Each carries a special meaning for the Fulani. Eyes on her temples will allow Maude to keep watch on her husband at all times. Cow tracks symbolize prosperity.
The beginning is the most painful.
Blood begins to mix with the ink, but the artist continues. After more than 3 hours, the work is complete. According to Fulani tradition, Maude is now a beautiful woman ready to consider marriage. Maude has finished her initiation rite, but Bapate is about to face his own test. Bapate learns that his opponent will be a boy named Mati from a neighboring clan. First, Bapate will whip Mati 3 times, and then he will have to endure the same. Whoever hits the other the hardest and flinches the least when hit himself will be declared the winner. The crowd will determine who is bravest. It is an impressive performance. Mati's clan celebrates his bravery by showering him with white talc powder and placing coins on his forehead as a congratulatory gesture. Now it is Bapate's turn to be beaten. The crowd roars. He barely flinched when struck by his opponent's weaker blows, and he's won the match. Though Bapate's skin is broken, his spirit is not.
It is burning me. It really hurts. But I am full of joy. I am very proud because I have won.
Bapate has endured a painful ordeal and become an adult member of the Fulani tribe.